All right, I'm gonna mute everybody. Play music if you want. You can unmute yourself anytime and holler at me. But let's get rolling our feet. I'm gonna put this down just a little bit. You're gonna probably lose some of my head, but I've tried every angle in here and it just really doesn't work to get my whole body. So I'm a headless instructor for a part of the class. That's all right. I think you guys are used to that by now. All right, so we're gonna roll the feet. We're just gonna spend 2 minutes on each foot. Okay, so remember the palm, this is your foot. Imagine the palm of your foot, the bottom of your foot. So palm of your hand, bottom of your foot, bottom of your hand, bottom of your foot, heel, all these spaces, right? 3 zones. This is called stripping, right? So we want to strip those fascia tissues on the bottom of our foot. Start with just a nice light touch as we go back and forth, and then getting a little bit deeper, but not so deep that we go, right? Always want to keep that breath. And if you just finished my class, please continue to slow down that breathing rate, get control of your breath, and try to get that breath from being more of a chest breath to more of a complete belly into chest breath. All right, welcome. We're just rolling, started on the first foot, so we're just rolling here, right between the ball of the foot, heel of the foot, finding all 3 zones. Now imagining or going back to the spots where we're a little tight, I want you now to press down, move the toes, rock off. Okay, so we're targeting those trigger points, or any spaces that just felt a little bit tight. We're gonna rock on, move the toes, rock off. Rock on, when I say move the toes, really try to lift and spread the toes, rock off. Rock on, rock off, good. Let's just find about 4 more spots on this side. Good, now I want you to put the ball right below the ball of the foot. So right in the center, and then just kind of shift your weight onto that foot a little bit. I see better. So I'm shifting my weight onto that foot. And then I'm just letting my foot just kind of round over the ball, right? Might do a little bit of shifting my weight side to side, but if this is my foot, this is a ball, I'm just imagining my foot just kind of releasing over it. 3 breaths. Good, and then go back to rolling, pressing down, whatever, just for a few more seconds on this side. Good, and shake it out. Good, and just go from side to side. Just take a little, remind that brain, right? Roll the foot, what it does, not just for the foot and ankle, but the whole leg. My quad is just, should have done this before class. All right, much more awake. All right, switch sides. So switch feet here. Rolling back and forth. Big inhales and exhales. And notice I have my hand on my wall, not that I'm losing my balance, I want to know it's there so I can focus more on my foot, right? If I'm too concerned about holding my balance, I'm not paying attention to as much as going on my foot. So I'm just going to keep my hand there. I'm not really leaning into it. I'm just using it so my brain doesn't have to think as much about keeping balance. I want my brain to think about what's going on down here. Okay? Big inhale, exhale. Brains are doing so many things at one time. Talk about multitasking, right? You're just taking one little thing off the list here so you can focus on this. Good. Get that inside space into the arch front to back. This is more of a vertical right now. Now you can do a little horizontal, a little circular if you want. Okay, and now whenever you're ready, go and find those tight spots. Rock on, move the toes, rock off, rock on, move the toes, rock off. Now the breath. Good. So you can continue with a rock on, rock off, or again, take the ball, put it right behind the ball of the foot, and just let that foot just kind of round over the ball. Maybe have a little side-to-side motion here. Just imagine this is your foot, the top of your hand, just relaxing and kind of encasing the ball with your foot as much as you can. Good, and shake it out. Good. So go back to our little test, right? Side to side. Have a little bit more alertness in that foot, or both legs, I should say. Good. All right, so we're going to take that and we're going to grab the ball. Like I said, we're going to spend a lot of time on the hips today. So we're going to move right up the chain into a little bit of the quad here. So I'm going to turn this way, but I'm going to show you on the leg that's facing you. I have that ball to the front side of my IT band. Okay, so it's on kind of on top of the IT band, and then I'm just going a little forward, back, only covering about that much space at a time. Okay. The leg that has the ball on it is bent, and I'm just kind of shifting forward and back. Good. Big inhales, exhales. Good. So again, we're targeting that vastus lateralis. It's the part of your quadricep that's here on the outside. Tends to get really kind of matted down, locked down with your IT band. And we're not going to roll that IT band, but we want to roll there in the vastus lateralis so we can get that quad to fully contract and relax. And if that IT band is just so tight that it's kind of locking down that quadricep, you're not going to get full function out of the quadricep muscle here. Okay, so doing it on this side, and then please switch to the other side whenever you're ready. Okay, remember, you know your body better than anyone else. Okay, so give it what it needs. Right, spend a little time on each side when we're rolling. Okay, usually you're gonna have one side that needs more work than the other. Please spend time on the side that needs it. Listen to your body, give it what it needs. Okay, so up here, right? Here's my ball and socket joint, right below it. We're only going to go to about halfway down, because any lower than that, you don't have much of the muscle tissue there. That's where that kind of turns all into tendinous, really thick fiber. So kind of just that upper half of the quad is where we have the ball here. Right, and just like I said, going between sides. All right, so quad, we're doing this outer quad. Why are we focusing on the outer quad right now? Because it attaches to the hip, right? Everything attaches to itself, but especially this outer quad, right, has a lot to do with what's going on in the hip. And like I said, we're going to do a lot of hip openers today. Okay. So just about 30 more seconds here, rolling this quad, and then we're going to roll the hips, and then we're going to get into stretching hips and quads. All right, so let's go right into the glutes now. All right, so we're gonna start with that lower glute, which is that big glute max. I'm gonna put the ball right there, right in the center of that medius part, and go a little horizontal, right? From that hip in towards the tailbone. Remember, we're never rolling the bone itself. We're using the bones as our landmarks, right? Kind of our map guides here, all right, as we map through the soft tissues. So not rolling the bone itself, but the tissues around the joint. So we're aiming for the tailbone, not going onto it, aiming for the ball and socket joint, not rolling onto it, side to side, okay? And same thing, just kind of swinging those hips, doing a horizontal, maybe a little bit of a vertical. I can drop into a little kind of half squat here. Keep the work right now in that glute max, right? Biggest muscle in your body. There's plenty there to work on. Find tight spots. And keep with the breath. Just a little bit longer here, about 30 seconds, and we're going to take it up into that high glute space. Good. All right. So next up, that high glute space. So again, using your bony landmarks, but think of the top of your pelvis, right? So if you wear yoga pants, it's usually about where the top of your waistband lies, right? So here's the rim of my pelvis. I'm going to put the ball right below that, right? And come up here against the wall. So I'm just going to have that ball guide underneath the rim of my pelvis. So this is the rim of my pelvis. The ball is just going to kind of go in that horizontal pattern underneath the rim, going side to side. And this is your glute med here. The middle side is glute. You have your glute max, which is the biggest, glute med, medium, glute min, minimal, that's the smallest one. That kind of underlies the knee. We can get it a little bit here as we roll. But we're going to focus on the glute max, glute med, because we can reach those with our ball. All right, so now we're going to take it. So I have it here, right? I'm going to take it out to the side. So here's my top of my pelvis, right? Right here at the top of my pants. And right underneath that is where I'm going to put the ball. And here I'm pretty much sideways, right? My hip is sideways into the wall. So I'm going to go a little bit, just a little mini forward and back. You can go a little vertical here if you want. You can go in a little circle. So imagine, right, here's my ball and socket joint. Here's the rim of my pelvis. The ball is in between those two spaces. Right, so use those bony landmarks to find these spaces. Now you can move the leg that has the ball in it. All right, so as we can pin and stretch, you can also move the upper body. So I'm going to take that inside arm up, reach away as I press the ball into the wall. Good, and then just change sides. Again, it's your body. All right, so just change sides whenever you're ready. Start with that glute space in the back. Right, again, from tailbone out to the hip joint. Just kind of tracing right underneath that pelvis rim, side to side. Good, and then find that sideways on position here as well. So again, you have top of the rim, pelvis, ball and socket joint, feel for it. We're exploring this space right in here, right in this space. Right down the side, you can move that leg forward, back, into out. You can also take that arm up. This is our pin and stretch. Good. All right, so one more minute here in the hips, right? Whether you go back to glute max, stay with the glute med. We're going to do one more minute here. I just want you to go back and hit spots that you found tightness in. And then what we're going to do is just one more spot. It's more in the low back, but very much connected to the hips. We're going to roll that, and then we're going to put the ball away and go into our stretches. All right, so whether it's glute med, glute max, press and hold, pin and stretch, whatever you need here. Listen to your body, close your eyes. Imagine any trigger points you have, just releasing, relaxing. You imagine them as a rope tied in a knot. You can imagine that knot just loosening and releasing. All right, so bony landmarks again. All right, we have the rim of the pelvis, which we already found, top rim of the pelvis. Now I want you to take that rim in towards your spine. Now you're gonna, before you get to the spine, you're gonna feel those some ropey muscles that go vertically up and down. That's your extensor muscles, right? And then further in, you're gonna feel that spine, right? So we have that little barrier there. That's our extensor muscles. What I want you to do is find your bony hip, and right where you put it, your thumb right on top, where you feel those ropey extensor muscles, go ahead and put the ball in there, okay? So very general as you think of kind of making an L, right? Your spine into your hip, as if your body was a Lego body, right? So you just want to stick that ball right into that kind of 90-degree space between the spine and the top of your pelvis, right? So right there in there is your spinal extensors. Also under there, a little bit deeper, is what's called your QL, your quadratus lumborum, right? Very sensitive muscle, big muscle, connects your ribs to your hips, right? That's why we want to just spend a little time here in this fascia release before we move into stretching the hip, okay? So, like I said, right there in that corner of the rim of your pelvis and your spinal extensors. Kind of get the ball in there, wiggle back and forth, allow the ball to just kind of nuzzle in there, okay? Can be tight, can be sensitive, don't, but never, never so much that you're taking your breath away, right? Big inhales and exhales. So I'm doing a little bit of a vertical pattern, a little bit of a horizontal pattern. Again, I'm just trying to get that ball to just kind of nuzzle in there a little bit. Tight spots, I really want you to focus on breath. Big inhale and exhale. Again, if it's, imagine a knot, imagine that knot just releasing, relaxing, falling apart. Good, I'm just going back and forth between the two sides here. This is the last time we're going to spend here with the ball, right? So this is your spine, you're going to nuzzle that ball right up next to it. And we're staying in the space below the rib cage. So we're not rolling up onto the rib cage. Finding that space between the rib cage and the top of the pelvis. Focusing on those extensors and a little bit of that QL in that space below. Big inhales and exhales. Good, just 30 more seconds here. And then we're gonna come down to the floor. All right, so you can put the ball down. Right, so we're gonna need your brick or your books at the end, and also your strap, but we don't need that all right now. Just kind of gather it up so you can reach it from your mat, because we're gonna spend pretty much the rest of the time down here. So coming down your mat, fighting all fours first, right? So from all fours, we don't want to stay in this position. We want to actually walk your hands forward. So you're going to start with your hands forward, palms spread wide on the mat, fingers spread wide, toes tucked. So we're going to get a lot of bang for the buck here. Right? So we just roll that low back, we roll the glutes. We're going to press back, hips to heels. Now we have our toes tucked, so we can get a little bit of a bottom of the foot stretch as well. So we've done these before in a lot of my classes. These are called quad rockers. We're in a quadruped position, and we're going to rock back, hips to heels. So what I want you to focus on here is pressure through the palms of your hands. So pressure as you press back, let your head come between your arms, and really lengthen. Think about sending your tailbone back for your feet, and then pressing through your palms in the front. We're going to feel that stretch all the way down the spine, through the back. Good. And exhale, press back. And let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I'm going to turn this way so you can see a little bit better. Same idea, right? But now I have one leg straight out to the side. So this leg is straight out from my hip, right? My hands are still in that forward position, toe is tucked, and then go back to hip to heel. Now I have that leg extended, so I'm getting a nice stretch through the inner thigh, maybe a little bit on this outer thigh. And again, pressure through the palms as you rock back. Let's do 4 more this side. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Switch. Okay, so that leg is straight out from the hip. Hands forward, rocking. And again, hips to heels here. Keeping that belly button pulled in. Core nice and flat. And last one. Good. All right. So we're going to come onto our back here. And let's grab your strap. We're going to go into our hamstring stretch here. So we're going to put that towel, strap, whatever you have around your one leg, heel to the ceiling, toe to your nose. Take the other leg straight if you can. Now, all of our stretching here is active, right? We're not just going to hang out and relax. We're going to do that at the very end. But as we're going through the stretches, I want you to think about every stretch being an active stretch, right? Meaning that some part of your body is working in that stretch. So for this one, you're going to use your strap, right? Knee bent, foot flat, option number 1. Option number 2, if you do it, is extend that other leg. And that leg is reaching long as this one is reaching up. So feel that active stretch here. So imagine your heel reaching for the ceiling as your hip, back of your hip, presses down into the floor. We're going to take 3 breaths here. Good. Now we're going to let that leg just fall to the outside. And I have to turn this way because I have a wall, but I'm going to let that leg fall to the outside. So again, the leg on the floor is reaching away. The leg that's in the band, again, reaching away. I'm going to tug on that towel or strap to kind of bring that leg closer to my face if I can, and getting that stretch through the hips. So again, very active. Go ahead and use that strap to help you come back to center. Now, remember we roll the outside of that quad, right? Now on the back side, underneath side of that IT band is your lateral hamstring. So we're going to target both of the lateral hamstring and quad here by turning the big toe in and then taking that leg across the body. But here's the key. Do not let that hip lift up, right? So we're going to reach the heel away, take the leg across the body, keep the hip pressing down into the floor, and it really doesn't take very far to feel that stretch in that outer quad, whether it's outer quad, outer hamstring. Big inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. Using your strap, come back to center. And same thing on the other side. So just go ahead and stretch or switch. Ready? Heel up, hip down, other leg active if you can get it along the floor, reaching forward. Good. And then taking it out to the same side. Same thing. Reaching the heel away. Good. Coming back to center. Making sure the back of that hip stays in the mat, turning the big toe in, and then we're going across the body. So you can even use your hand here to kind of pull on that hip, make sure it's not reaching up away from the floor. Tug on that band to bring it closer to your face, but again, it doesn't really take much to get that stretch here in that outer quad space. Good. And we're going to come back to our knee bent position. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do next is what I call a little variation of happy baby. So you can either keep that knee straight, but if you can, again, go into that leg extended. So with happy baby, you're going to pull with your strap or grab the outside of your foot and pull that knee towards your armpit here. So as I'm pulling my knee to my armpit, I'm reaching that opposite leg forward. Big inhale, exhale. And if you can't reach it with your hand, then again, keep the strap. Use the strap here. You can rock a little side to side. Right? Now we're going to stay with the same side because we're already here with the band. We're going to go into a little what's called stir-up stretch. So I'm going to bring that foot inside towards my body, and then I'm going to extend it out and up. So I'm using my strap here. As you can see, I'm pulling that foot in, so that inward rotation, and then out and extend it. So in and out and extend it. Again, this is working through those hips and out and extended. And again, you can do this If you can grab it with your hand, go ahead and do it. Use the strap as you need. And let's just do about 3 more here. Good. All right, and then take the strap off that foot or towel, put it on the other foot. And we're going to go into half happy baby here. So either grabbing the instep with your hand, or if you can't do that, you use your towel or strap. You're going to target that knee, going right into the armpit here. Get the leg extended, reaching forward. If that doesn't work, you can let it fall to the side or just stay with that knee bent. Foot flat position. And again, you can rock a little side to side here. Good. And next up is that stirrup stretch where we bring that foot in towards the center and then out and up and in towards the center and out and up. Good. In and out and up. Good. Good. And let's do about 4 more here. Good. All right, bend your knees and just rock up. We're going to do a 90-90 sit here. So I've got 90-degree bend in the back, 90-degree bend in the front. And we're just going to come forward, chest over that front leg. Big inhale, exhale. So this is a modified pigeon stretch here. If you want to go into a full pigeon, more than welcome to do that. On that front foot, see if you can bring your toes and pull them up towards your shin here. Go ahead and then come on up. Let's switch to the other leg in the front. Again, we're in that 90-90 sit, 90 degrees in the front, 90 degrees in the back. Come on down. Pull the toes of that front foot up towards your shin. Go ahead and then coming up out of that. We're going to go knees in front, hands behind, and all we're going to do is let those knees fall to the side and then to the other side. All right, so we're just getting that mobility here. So my knee's going to tuck right underneath the arch of the other foot as we go side to side. And nice and easy and controlled, just getting that movement through the hip. You have an option here to come up and press up. Press the hips up, reach over the top, and that's targeting, right, that side of the hip that we hit with the ball. And as you come up, if you're doing this up, squeezing that glute, pressing the hip forward. Let's just do one more on each side. Good stuff. All right, we're gonna start to wind down here. We're gonna do just a couple more stretches. So similar to what we did in that seated position, we're gonna come down on the floor. So arms can be out in a T, they can be up in like a kind of a cactus position here. And we're gonna do that same thing. Roll the hips to one side, and then roll them to the other. Okay, so try to keep the shoulder blades parked on the floor here. We want this motion to come from the middle of the spine and that thoracic space. And just doing this nice, easy side-to-side motion. Probably noticing that one side is tighter than the other, that's fine. Just be aware. Maybe go back and target that space that's tight. Okay, now I want you to come to the side. Again, my knee is kind of tucked right underneath the arch of my foot. Now I'm going to take that foot, lift it up, and put it on top of the outside of that knee. Here, we're targeting this space, that TFL space. Big inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, let that leg or foot slide off. Roll to the other side. So I have my knee tucked right behind that foot. I'm going to pick up that foot and put it on top of the knee. And again, targeting this space right here in the front of the hip. 3 breaths. Go ahead and let that leg or foot slide off. Come back to center. Let's pull both knees into your chest here. Grab the backs of your knees. Just pull those knees in. And as you pull the knees in, we're going to press that tailbone down into the floor. And happy baby. You can reach up and grab those feet. Grab your strap and towel again if you want. Rocking a little side to side. And full happy baby here. And then we're going to rock up and finish in any position here, whether it's feet together or crisscross applesauce, whatever feels good. Cross-legged position, feet together. Sit up nice and tall, and then just come forward over those legs and letting the body round. And think about those knees being heavy and falling to the floor. Good, and then you can take it into a lateral reach to go over to one side. So you're kind of aiming your chest over one knee. And to the other side, that lateral reach here. All right, so we're going to spend just a few minutes here on our breath. I actually encourage you to stay with it even after I sign off. This is where you can use your yoga brick or your blocks. If you don't have either one, no big deal. You have a wall, so you can certainly put your legs up the wall, and I'll show you that first. That's what you prefer. Okay, so one option here is having your hips and knees at 90 degrees. And if you push just a little bit actively into the wall and take your hips up and down, just a little lift, you're going to feel a nice lengthening through that tailbone. So that's one option here, knees bent at 90, doing a little active work here. Another option is legs completely up the wall. Now, as you do that, you got to get your hips kind of nuzzled right up there. And so you can go waterfall here, straight, legs out to the side. And think about that tailbone kind of sinking into the mat. Okay, so legs up the wall is certainly an option. I'm going to work with the brick under the pelvis. Okay? If you're going to do the same, make sure you find a space there that your pelvis feels fully supported by the ball or by the brick, right? It shouldn't feel awkward in there. It should feel like you're very comfortable and supported in that space. All right, big inhales and exhales. And wherever you are, whether it's legs up the wall, hips on the brick, you can also have your legs up here. I'm going to focus on the breath, starting with a big inhale in the belly. Continue it through the diaphragm, then into the lungs, fully expanding those lungs, and then reversing everything on the exhale, finishing with that belly button pulled in, but also that pelvic floor pulled up. And for some people, this brick under the pelvis is one of the first places I've had people tell me, it's the first place they can really feel that activation of their pelvic floor with the breath. Right? So give it a shot if you can. Arms, I forgot to say, any comfortable position for you. I recommend it in a position where the shoulders stay open. Big inhale. And exhale. Imagine everything going back down towards your belly button, pulling that belly button in and up. Pelvic floor, pulling up towards your center. Okay, and I encourage you to stay with it, whatever space you're in. Continue with your breath. Big inhales and exhales. 3 to 4 breaths, big breaths. Whatever's on your mind. 3 to 4 deep breaths will make things seem just a little bit better. I promise. Take care, everybody. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week.